Don't believe everything you think. Chapter 14. How to follow your intuition. Have the courage to follow your heart and intuition. They somehow already know what you truly want to become. Everything else is secondary. Steve Jobs. In the previous chapter, we talked about how we don't need to think in order to thrive in the world, and that the way we do thrive is to remove the thinking we have going on. The state of flow is a state of pure oneness and a direct connection to everything around us, because there is no separation when we are in that state. We can also say that it is a state where we are in direct connection and alignment with God, universe, infinite intelligence. What thinking does is sever this connection we have with the divine, causing us to feel stress, frustration, anger, resentment, depression, and all of these negative emotions many of us feel on a daily basis. This is why some religions describe hell as the complete separation from God. From now on, for simplicity's sake, I will be using the term non-thinking instead of flow. But they really are synonymous when I use them in this book. This state of non-thinking also means a direct connection to infinite intelligence. Many will attribute the state of non-thinking or flow with a particular activity that we love to do, and that's the only time we can be in flow. This is far from the truth. We can be in a state of non-thinking at any point in time. The only time we can really be in a state of non-thinking is in the present moment. We can only see reality in the present moment, and when we are actively thinking, it means we are either in the past or future, which don't exist. Only in the present moment can the truth be found. This is why all of the spiritual masters and leaders always teach to meditate, pray, and to be in the present moment. In the Bible, when Moses asks God her name, she replies with, I am. God didn't say that she was or will be because they don't exist, but simply with I am, God, truth, the universe, freedom, peace, joy, and love. These terms are all synonymous, can only be found and therefore experienced in the past. When you are following your intuition, it means you are trusting yourself and having faith that you always have the inner wisdom necessary to help guide you through everything in life. This is a state of non-thinking or flow. Let's explore how we can make this concept practical and bring it into our everyday lives. What does following your intuition and inner wisdom look like, and how we can do it? When you are following your intuition, you are completely tapped into something greater than your personal self. You are in a state of non-thinking, flow, and direct connection with God. In this state, you always know what you need to do without thinking and are guided by infinite intelligence. It almost seems like we are not doing anything when we are in this zone, because we lose our sense of personal self and become one with life. When we are in this state, miracles occur, such as business deals coming out of nowhere, people showing up at the right place at the right time, money comes in exactly when we need it, connections that we were looking for spontaneously falls upon our laps, and life seems almost magical. Time seems to warp and bend around us, and it's because there is no sense of it. We proceed to then accomplish more within a few days than others do within a month. Abundance, love, joy, peace, harmony, and gratitude are inevitable and inseparable feelings that are experienced in this state. Every single person has experienced instances where they have felt like this before. Although many have experienced this phenomenon, very few are able to maintain it for extended periods of time. The main reason is because most relapse back into thinking and believe that they have to figure it out themselves. It is when they begin thinking that we lose this power of creating miracle-like events and circumstances. The truth is that we don't have to have it all figured out, nor do we even have to figure it all out. How can our limited minds possibly understand and try to manipulate the entire world to our desire? It is only when we think we know more than God that we run into problems. The great news is that we don't have to know more than her, nor do we have to even think. All we have to do is trust in our own intuition and have faith that our inner wisdom will show us the way that is best for us. When you ask people who are the most abundant, joyful, and successful, how they made it, they will usually attribute their success to some sort of higher power or luck. These people have trusted in something greater than themselves and thus attribute it to that instead of attributing their success to sheer willpower and brute force. There is so much in life that is completely out of our control, and we can really only control a very small portion of it. This is not to say that we give up because we can't control our lives. It's quite the opposite. When we realize that we don't have to control and try to force everything to happen our way, we become free from suffering, pain, and frustration and begin to fall into this state of non thinking where things just all happen for us instead of to us. We begin to see that everything was perfectly placed in our life to help us become the exact person we are now, and that if anything were changed, we would not have what we do now. There are millions of small circumstances and events that have to have been meticulously orchestrated for us to be where we are now. To plan that would be impossible and futile, yet here we are. This is the miracle of life. To go back on a point we just made about us not having to control things in our lives, there is a caveat I want to highlight. It is true that we cannot control everything that happens in our lives, but what we can control is whether we think or not, which is the root cause of all our problems and negative emotions. We can decide to change our experience of life whenever we want and how we feel at any moment. This is how we can choose to be happy. By choosing to let go of our thinking, isn't that what ultimately matters at the end of the day? It's not about what we have, but how we feel inside that is the true measure of success, joy, and fulfillment. The other point I wanted to bring up is that although we can't control a lot of things, what we can have a say in is what we want in our lives, but not necessarily the how. For instance, we have the gift of imagination, access to infinite intelligence, which means we can come up with anything that we want in our lives. This is an amazing blessing, but where things can go sour is when we think that we need to figure out the how in order to make it happen. It is at this point that most people give up or continue down the path of brute force to try to bring it to life and suffer daily for it. This is why people believe that we have to work hard and suffer for what we want in life. This is simply not true. It is only true if we think we have to figure out the how to get what we want in life. Our job is to come up with what we want, not how to get it. The how is really up to the universe. This is the best case scenario. Anyway, Because there are an infinite number of ways to bring about what you want in life. So for our little finite brains to figure it out would be futile nonetheless. We only suffer when we try to figure it all out. But we don't have to. This is when we want to rely on our intuition and inner wisdom to help show us exactly what we need to do in real time to manifest what we want. There is no need to try to figure it all out in advance. Our part is to hold in our minds what we want and get into a state of non-thinking. This enables us to access our infinite intelligence, God, so that the answers are revealed to us exactly when we need it. The path forward is only revealed when we begin walking. There is never going to be a time where the entire path is illuminated for us to see beforehand. That would completely negate the need for faith, and that is why faith and trust is of utmost importance when manifesting something. We must have complete, unwavering faith that what we want to create will come to us, and we can only do this by fully trusting in the universe to orchestrate how it will happen. We can always get what we desire in life. It just may not be on our timeline or in the way we want it to manifest. Our intuition and inner wisdom, God actually speaks to us all of the time. You know that small voice inside that always knows what you should do. Maybe it's to leave your job, forgive the person that hurt you, ask someone out, to reconnect with someone. It's that gut feeling you get where you know what you need to know. Have you ever regretted not doing something in a moment your gut told you to do it? Have you ever had a gut feeling to do something but you have no logical reasoning as to why, but you did it anyway and amazing things happened afterwards? This is your intuition. Our intuition does come to us in the form of thoughts, but remember that there is a stark difference between thoughts and thinking. As we discussed in a previous chapter, thoughts are divine by nature and feel like they pop into our minds out of nowhere. Thinking, on the other hand, is a manual, strenuous effort that we create ourselves, which feels very heavy and typically has negative emotions attached to it. When you have divine thoughts from infinite intelligence, there is a sense of knowingness to it. It contains the truth, and you just know deep down that it's right. Your intuition will almost never seem logical or rational, but that's exactly what we want because we don't want it to be predictable. If it were predictable, it wouldn't be miraculous and it wouldn't contain the infinite possibilities of the universe, which are all spontaneous by nature. Your intuition will almost always go against your logical, rational mind. So be prepared for that. It will whisper to you that you should talk to this random person in a coffee shop that leads to a beautiful friendship, or for you to call up a friend spontaneously where you find out they really needed someone to be there for them during a difficult time. It will tell you to step into and live in your divine gift and put yourself out there to share the truth of what you know. It will softly beckon you to pursue what you truly want in life versus following what everyone else says that you should want. These are a few examples of the infinite numbers of ways it will speak to you, and when you follow it, it will always create miracles and abundance beyond your wildest imaginations. So, why don't more people listen to their intuition if it always knows what to do and creates abundance whenever it is followed fear? Listening to our intuition can be scary or extremely daunting. This is because our intuition lives in a space of the unknown. In other words, our intuition is spiritual and operates in the field of infinite possibilities, which by nature is the field of unknown. We as humans always fear the unknown because we can't predict what might happen. It is only when we step into the unknown that we begin to experience the limitless possibilities that life can bring to us. This is why magical things and miracles happen when we trust our intuition. We are literally stepping into the zone of pure possibility. It is for this reason what we only need to know the what of what we want to manifest, but not the how. The only way you can enter this space of miracle is through non-thinking. If we think, we immediately get ejected out of the space and enter a state of anxiety, worry and suffering. Our thinking will try to predict what might happen based on the past. This is why most people get more of the same of what they have always gotten. Then try to use their limited personal mind to create something they have never experienced before, innocently not realizing that they must step into the unknown by entering the state of non-thinking and listening to their intuition. We can only ever create something we have never experienced in the realm of infinite possibilities. But the only way to make that happen is to go where we haven't gone before, which is the unknown. In summary, your intuition always knows what you need to do in the present moment, but the only way to access it is by getting into a state of non-thinking. Your personal mind will freak out because you're stepping into the space of infinite possibilities, the unknown. But if you remember that it is just thinking that is making you feel fear, the fearful thinking will fall away and the courage you need to act on your intuition will naturally surface. It is in this moment that you must have faith in your inner wisdom, God, to guide you through life even when you don't know what will happen next. But that's the adventure and joy in it. The unknown is also the only way to manifest what you want in life if you don't already have it. If you have to do what you haven't done in order to get what you don't have. When you are operating from intuition, it's not like you are going to feel fear all of the time. The fear is only present as long as your thinking is revolving around fear. Once you acknowledge the fear and understand that it's only your thinking that's causing those feelings, the illusion will fall apart and you will fall back into peace, joy, and pure love. This is the space you want to stay in, which will allow you to create the positive feelings that are the prerequisite to manifesting all you could possibly imagine for yourself.